a father's heart. The mystery he lavishes on us is deep, cries out.
It's breakfast time, y'all. Got pie noise. I kind of want all of it. It's like whatever you want. It's pretty cute up there. Orange suspenders.
I did bring this with me for y'all.
And avocado, I'm good.
And then you still want
the sweet potato fries.
Okay, guys.
Passion Week, day 3. We're on day 3, or is it 4? It's 3. I think it's 3. We're on Wednesday. Are we on 4? We're on 4, guys. We are on day 4 of Passion Week. So I have so much to talk to you guys about later. I am super excited, but I'm gonna grab breakfast right now because I am starving. So yesterday, I know I didn't do anything yesterday, but yesterday was Jesus was in Bethany and he chilled. Y'all, if y'all need a all around put together, Jesus was in Bethany and he chilled. He was preparing himself for what was going forward, and there's not a lot of information of what he did on that particular day, mostly because he was hanging out. I'm kidding, he wasn't hanging out, he was prepared, he was getting ready. So I'm gonna eat, we're gonna go over some stuff later, and it's gonna be a good day. We're on day 4, guys. It's coming. It's coming. Hello everyone. Once again, it is nighttime before I'm getting to you guys. It has been once again, it's been a very busy day. I'm sure y'all are so tired of hearing me say that. After I had went to breakfast with my family, I then had some shopping I needed to do, trying to find something for Easter, even though I have a million things in my closet. Shopaholic. And then I had to run all over the place. And so now I'm finally getting to sit down with you guys again. Alright, and so I had realized earlier that I had a little bit of a mess up. I had actually said earlier that yesterday was the day of silence, or that was the day where there's not a lot documented. Because Jesus was in Bethany for that day, but I was actually incorrect. My brain is not working when it comes to the numbers of the days because I wanted to start on a Monday instead of on that Palm Sunday. So today would have been the day of silence. This would have been the day that you don't have a lot of information about what's going on. Look, I have this awesome book here, guys. I actually got this in LA. I went to LA about a year ago or so, and I was on my way to my final flight, and I actually found this book in the bookstore, and I wasn't gonna buy it, and then I kept staring at it and staring at it, and I was like, I gotta get it because it was $30. Let's be honest, I didn't want to pay $30 for it, but inside of it is so many awesome things. Like, you have it goes all the way from the front to the back of the Bible. It has so many little in-depth things. You have charts, maps, timelines. You also have some really cool stuff. Like, if you're anything like me, you try to learn a little bit of Jewish history about at least what is going on at the specific time during everything. So it actually starts from the beginning all the way from Genesis, going on to Abraham, Jacob, Moses, and you just keep going on. And of course you have some loveliness of Jesus in here, translations, names, just some really awesome, helpful stuff. So if you are like me and you get bored and you just want to read historical things, there you go, you got a book. But I was going through this book today, and I was seeing where I had messed up. So yes, today is technically the day of silence. It says here that it doesn't mention anything about today. This is a rest day. There's no gospel recordings on this day. And I honestly, again, like I said, I think it was the time that Jesus needed to rest. He knew what he was about to endure. He knew what he was about to go through. I hear people say that, oh, Jesus didn't know. Jesus knew. He knew why he was brought to this earth. He knew why he was born, and it was to save us. And he always knew that from the beginning. He never didn't know that that was going to happen to him. He knew something was going to have to occur in order for him to fulfill the promise that God had given to us so that we can have this life and we can have this everlasting life. He had to be that. So I'm sure he needed a nap because he was about to go through things that nobody should not only ever have to go through, but things that he never should have lived through. He never should have survived half of what he went through, let alone the entire thing leading up to it. So let's go over what happened the day before that, so which would have been yesterday, that Tuesday. This, as I'm reading, is when Jesus does a lot of his final teachings. Of course, we have the Last Supper and things like that, but his kind of final teachings to the public, if you will. It's when he goes to the Mount of Olives and it's overlooking Jerusalem. And that's where he does, his parable teachings, which including the vineyard, the bride, I call it like the bride wedding story. It's the banquet story. It's actually one of my favorites. One of my favorite parables that I'm so happy that I actually got the chance to understand when I understood it. I still do today. It's not like I don't understand it anymore, but I'm really glad I got to understand it early on. You guys see me looking off a lot because I have like stuff around me where I'm trying to make sure I'm giving you the most accurate information. I do like to triple and check myself at all times. So you can go through those particular verses. You can go through Matthew 21, 23 through 24. Oh, I'm sorry. 21 through 24. Yes. You can also read Matthew 51. You can read Mark 11:27 and then 13:37. You can also read Luke 21 and Luke 21:36. So if that made any sense, I hope it did. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Yeah, that's where he does teaching. This is also actually going to be the day that Judas actually went in to fully betray Jesus. This is where the exchange of the money had happened. This is where he decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I have people, I don't know how to say it. Judas had a role. He had a role to play. Because ultimately, if Judas wouldn't have played the role he played, if he wouldn't have betrayed Jesus, how terrible it was to know that somebody you love hurts you. If that wouldn't have happened, God could never have used Jesus in the way he did, because everything had to happen exactly how he planned it out. And I use that to myself a lot. I don't know if you guys do, but when people hurt me or they betray me, it had to happen like that, because something had to add up in order for it to work. And no matter what the enemy throws at me, he cannot throw anything at me that is not going to work in my power and in my promise by God. So there's nothing he can throw at me that God isn't going to use as a tool. He isn't going to use to bring me higher. He isn't going to use to make me better. There isn't one thing that he can ever throw at me, whether it be through people, through jobs, through opposition. Nothing he can throw is ever going to affect me, and it's never going to affect you either. So know that. So even if you have a Judas in your life, we all got him. We definitely all got him. If you have a Judas in your life, it's okay, because they are playing their part and they are playing their purpose, because God has a purpose for you. And with that, I'm going to wrap up my day. And I'm gonna do a little bit more writing. Your girl did some writing last night, and I'm on 160, I believe. So we're on page 160 today, which is definitely stinking awesome. It is awesome. We are getting somewhere in this world. And please excuse my ratchet appearance. Your girl didn't feel like putting on makeup today. And my eyes a little sore because I had a migraine all day yesterday. And I'm still having a little bit of the effects today. Which is why I didn't get to talk to you guys yesterday, because I had a terrible migraine. And sit on that, rest, get ready, because we are entering into the forum. We are entering into the threshold. And we're getting ready to walk this step, this amazingly kind, beautiful step of love that no one else could have ever done. And it still amazes me every day, and believe it or not, it amazes me every day that Jesus took a chance on someone like me. And I have failed. I have not lived up to my end of the bargain. I have not been the best daughter to God. And Jesus still thought about me on that cross. And he still said that I was enough. I was good enough to actually be worth dying for. But joke's on the devil, because death didn't work. But I was worth that, and so are you. You are worth it. I don't care what anyone's ever told you. I don't care what lie the enemy has ever whispered in your ear. You are worth it. You have always been worth it. You have always been at the forefront of God's mind every single day when he wakes up. You are on the forefront of his mind. You are the first thing he thinks of, even though God don't sleep. But he's always thinking of us. He always has a heart for us. He has a love for us. And he has a love for you. Take it for what it is. It's a great gift. It's wonderful. It's grace. All right, y'all. Peace. Love you.